Are you making any of the 7 most common mistakes that 90% people make in their job applications? From being too formal or not highlight matching, make sure you don't end up sabotaging your own chances of getting the dream job that you always wanted. Learn about these 7 mistakes and watch out for them to give yourself the best chances at success in your job applications. What's up, everybody? My name is Sadia. I'm an electrical engineer doing Ph.D. in machine learning here in Montreal, Canada. I review job applications on a daily basis, both for my business where I help students get into their dream grad schools, and for this YouTube channel whenever I'm hiring a new editor, a thumbnail designer, a graphics editor, animations expert, anybody. So just last year, I reviewed 1,972 applications. This includes both applications from students for grad schools, PhD positions, and applications I reviewed for hiring some experts for my channel. Here's the number one mistake that 90% of the applications have in common. This is called not highlight matching. Here's what I mean by that. If a job description says looking for a video editor to work for an educational channel who has experience working in DaVinci Resolve, and your job application highlights your work with gaming channels, most of it with Premiere Pro, and you do have some experience working with educational channels and DaVinci Resolve, but it is hidden way down the line, maybe in like 7th, 8th element of your portfolio, and you have mentioned somewhere in the subnote that you can work with DaVinci Resolve as well, you're not getting the job even though you do have the expertise, the skills required to be able to do the job. Why? Because you didn't match the highlights. Read the job description, make it the highlight in your application when you submit it. This goes for the grad school applications as well. A lot of the candidates do have the necessary background experience and skills required to get a job, but they don't make it the highlight of their profile when they are submitting their applications for a job, for a grad school application. Since they are using one shoe fits all application to send to 500 different postings, they don't tailor them to the job posting. So you have to match the highlight. You read the job description, you take a highlighter, you take a physical, you make a printed copy of the job description, you highlight it, and then you rearrange your skills, your existing set of capabilities, skills, experience to make the highlight of your application the one that they are looking for. Now, here's another one that at least half of the applicants make, and that is not proofreading. You do not want to leave any spelling or grammar errors in your application. Sometimes you've been working on your application so long that you literally become blind to the spelling errors. So it's always a good idea to have someone else take a look at it or use some spelling and grammar check. It's a small detail, but it makes a huge difference. You don't want a silly typo to cost you the job you want. Here's the third mistake: not following the instructions. It might seem obvious, but the number of people who do not follow the employer's instructions when they are applying for a job is way higher than I would like to believe. A personal experience I'm gonna share with you, especially when I'm posting for freelancer websites like Fiverr or Upwork or any other freelance website. Whenever I'm hiring some editor, some thumbnail designer, graphics designer for anything, I usually leave some sort of hidden trap card in the job description. For example, when I post a job, somewhere close to the end, not quite in the last line, but closer to the end, in between the paragraphs, I leave something like, if you have read this far, start your cover letter or your message with a peach emoji or a plant emoji, something like that. This is a very easy way for me to filter out the applicants. For example, when you post any job like that on Fiverr or Upwork, you will receive like hundreds of applications. So this is a very quick way for me as an employer to filter out the applications who did not even bother reading the full job description and just sent their standard copy-paste portfolio, because if someone did not take the time to read the job description, they're definitely not gonna take enough time to read my instructions that I'm giving them for editing a certain video or designing a certain thumbnail. So whenever it's a job that requires a certain amount of reading involved, it's a very good idea to always read very carefully the job description, find any hidden trap cards, and follow the employer's instructions for applying for that job. For grad school applications, if a company or if a professor has asked for a specific document and only that document, it's a very bad idea to bundle up all of your other documents into a zip file and send them everything. Also, it's a very bad idea to miss the specific document that they have specifically asked you to attach. So whenever an employer has given clear instructions in a job posting, you have to follow those instructions to the letter to give yourself the best chance at the job. Now here's the fourth mistake, and again, it's a big one: not doing your research. The number of freelancers who assumed I had a gaming channel, or the number of grad school applicants who mentioned the wrong research area for the professor they wanted to work with, is again way higher, disturbingly higher than I would like to believe or would have expected when I started reviewing all these job applications. So you have to do your research. When you do your research, you have to know the person or the company you will be working for. Not only this will increase your chances of getting the job you want, but this will also tell you if you really want that job in the first place or not, or if the person or the company, the culture, the mission, the values is something that you would want to stick with for a long period of time. Another common mistake I see is being too formal. While it is important to show a degree of professionalism and be somewhat formal in your job applications, it's okay to show that you're a human and include a little bit of humor or your human side, because the people reviewing that application are humans so far. Humans, for some reason, as efficient as the robots are, humans for some reason don't like robots. So be sure to include a little bit of your human side in your job application. If they are asking about your hobbies, do mention it. If they are asking about something you like, something you do in your spare time, do mention it. Do show your human side in your job applications, and yes, keep it formal and respectful, but also human. Now here's another one: not following up. It's always a good idea to give the employer a call, maybe a week or two later after your interview with them, and follow up with them and see how your application did, how did you do, and if they want to hire you. This shows a little bit of proactiveness on your part. It's also okay if you didn't get hired for a company for a particular position to reapply to that company maybe in a couple of months' time, 6 months' time, or whenever they have a new position available, and you can mention that you're really interested in working with the company and you have applied for them before and now you're applying for them again. This is not a negative point. They may have found another candidate who was more suitable for the job at that time, but now you might be the most suitable candidate. At the very least, it shows that you are very interested in really working with that company or that person. So it's always a good idea to follow up with the person or the company that you want to work with. Following up is actually how I hired one of my thumbnail designers. Originally, I did not like their design and I did not hire them, but a few months later, after they improved their skills a little bit and they reached out to me again and they mentioned that they've been working on their skills and they have a new portfolio and if I would be interested in taking a look at their updated portfolio. And I did, and it was very good, and I ended up hiring them for some of my thumbnail designs. Now here's mistake 7, giving up too easily. It is human nature and very normal to feel disappointed and discouraged when you don't hear back from the employers in a row, but it's very important to persevere and persist and keep looking for more relevant opportunities and applying for them. Hopefully, if you're incorporating the lessons from this video in your job applications, you won't have to wait for 500 job applications before you get your first interview call. And when you do get your first interview call, it is very, very important to anticipate the interview questions that you are going to be asked, prepare for them in advance, and then ace the interview confidently. Because 50% of the interview questions are standard repeated questions that you can anticipate. So watch that video next to learn what are those questions and how best to answer that so that you don't end up sabotaging your own chances at the dream job that you really want by screwing up your interview. See you in the next one.